What's up, guys? I decided I'd do a little video here for my slider setup for CFM, along with the post I have on Operation Sports. I know some people, like myself, like to just have visually an aid and follow along with that. So thought I'd put this little video together for you. So to get started, you're going to want to delete your profile. It wouldn't let me record that. I couldn't show you guys me deleting the profile, but delete your profile, fire up the game, pick your favorite team. I'm a Packers fan, so obviously I'll pick the Packers. And just once you're done doing that, it'll just go through like when you first bought the game, and your next screen will be what style you want, I believe. Let's see here. There we go. So we're gonna pick arcade. And this is just because we're wanting to get the animations that come with it. We're still going to get a simulation game, but we're going to manipulate it to get us some really cool animations. So we'll pick arcade, and then we'll go ahead and pick our difficulty here. We're going to go over and pick expert because we need a bunch of those things already turned off. Once you're in the main menu, head all the way over to customize and go down to settings, and click settings there, and we'll go game options. And we're going to go down and make sure it still says all Madden and make sure it says arcade. We're going to change quarter length to 9 minutes, and Josh C, as he found out, is 9 minutes with Excel clock off. And game speed is going to be very slow, and auto defense call needs to be a flip off. Okay, everything else should be good except we need to turn ball hawk on. Everything else should be off. Player sliders are default still. As far as the coin toss is concerned, I like to mix it up because you pretty much get whatever you want every coin toss. If you always want to kick or receive, you pretty much will every game. It's kind of frustrating. So I set it up to do against win first and then kick. I do like to kick the ball, but this way at least it gives me a chance at having to receive it first. So that's my setup, but that is user preference at this point. Do whatever you want. I don't really think it has an impact in any way on the game. So now we'll go over and we're going to go down to visual feedback, and we're going to make sure on the field we're going to turn all those off, especially drive goals and feedback. That's not same, it ruins the experience. We're going to turn those completely off. Bottom line ticker for the franchise, just to make sure you're not losing your immersion factors, just switch it to scores only. And game planning boost, keep that off too, because again, that's not really a sim aspect. I would just keep that off, just to have, you know, less is more in my opinion on these right here. So just have these all off, and get down to camera toggle off, passing cam off, offense needs to be zoomed, defense goes standard, and then we'll go over to volume control. This won't give you the best audio setup, you know, but it's better than nothing. So in game at 90. Stadium speakers is, I believe, 70, I think. Yeah, there's 70, so we'll get that down here to 70. Crowd is 100. On the field, I believe, is 80. And menu music, you know, we want it there, but not overwhelming, so we'll just go 40. This just helps the crowd sound a little bit more alive in the game. You don't have the commentary drowning it out. So I think it sounds a little bit better, but it's not going to give you the college or the even real-life NFL atmosphere that we'd love to have in this game, but it's still better than nothing. Alright, so now we will go up to penalties. Everything's going to stay default on the main screen except for a few things. Defensive holding, we're going to put that up to 99. Face masks is going to go down to 0, and we're going to put defensive pass assists up to 99. And the reason is just we're trying to manipulate animations here, and over the top hits that can come from the arcade style can be tied to the face mask sliders. So if we zero that out, then we should be reducing the amount of potential over the top hits, arcade-ish tackles that could be imported into our franchise. So that's all we're doing there. Everything else is just to tighten up coverage a little bit between the DBs and the wide receivers, and the fact that it's on arcade doesn't really matter at this point. Everything else, just make sure it's all turned on. And now we'll go into the player slider skills, and these are just all going to be zeroed out. We're going to zero out absolutely everything except for special team sliders, so you guys can just kind of watch me zero everything out, I guess. And since I already have these saved, I'm just going to load in my user sliders. And you know what? You've seen it done once, you don't need to see it done a second time. So we'll just go ahead in the CPU, and you know what to do, zero them out. I'm just going to load mine in. No reason to make you watch it again. We'll just get this right from my setup, and boom, everything's zero. And we are good to go. Special team sliders all at 50. And last but not least, now we're going to go into auto subs. And this is borrowed from Josh C. He does great work. And we're going to change everything to out at 49, in at 50. And we'll just cut ahead here so you don't have to watch me do every single slider. So, boom, there we go. They're all done. 49, 50. Do that for offense and defense. Just double check everything is legit. And now we're ready to go into our franchise, which if you're not using one, with the preseason 75-man roster, I recommend starting a new one with that and going offline. You're going to get the best gameplay from the players with the preseason 75-man roster. So I'm going to load up my franchise template that I made and show you guys a couple of things you need to do with the coaches to get this game playing well. And I recommend saving a template as well, just like me, just in case you want to restart something later on with a different team or something like that. You don't have to do this whole process again. But basically, once you're in your franchise, and do start it week 1 of the preseason, by the way, you're just going to scroll all the way over. Actually, you're going to click in R3, I believe, and you're gonna, once you click in R3, it'll give you an option to add new character. And what you're gonna do is you're taking over a new team as just a character. So people always freak out about this, but just you're gonna create a new character, and you're gonna end up doing this for all 32 teams. And for example, we'll just do the Patriots here. And this is a great way to also do the trades that happen too. Just do it all at once, and since the Patriots made some trades with the Jimmy Garoppolo trade, this is a great example. So we're going to take control of their coach as another user, and all we're going to do is, once we're on the Patriots screen, we're going to head over to the Manage screen, and we're going to head down to my coach, and then we're going to go into their schemes, and you're going to go over, and this is per Josh C., change offense to balanced. It helps them run plays a lot better. One thing I also recommend doing, you don't have to do, I do have the list in my thread on Operation Sports, is changing the CPU offensive playbook to a generic playbook. I feel like they run a more wide variety of plays, and they also have better play calling in general. I've just liked what I've seen. So I do have every single CPU team set up with a generic playbook, as well as the offensive balance scheme from Josh C. So go ahead and do all this. For all the teams, it doesn't take that long. I mean, about a minute per team. It's really not that bad. Once you start getting the hang of it, you can do it even faster than that. So once you're done with that, you back out, and then if you need to make trades, here's a great time to do it too. You just trade with another team, and this is a way to include the draft picks as well. So I sent over Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers, and the Patriots got back the second-round pick, and I also just brought Brian Hoyer over as well, and it just happens instantly because you control it, and it's a great way to just get all the trades. You have everything accurate as it is or would be through Week 8 of the NFL season. Once you're done, you just click R3 again. I'm sorry, you don't click on R3. You go over to options, and you just hit retire coach, and the coach is still going to stay. All the settings are going to stay. All that happens is just you as a user are retiring from controlling that team, but that team is still there. Everything's still there. You don't have to worry about that. If you ever need to go back in and check it, you will see all the settings have stayed the same. So that's what I recommend doing. But then once you are in your specific team's franchise, which I need to get out of my template here, I guess, well, I guess I could show you here, is once you're actually in your team's franchise, one other thing that Josh C. Discovered with animations is to go over and change all the positions there to balanced. Then I believe the only ones you can't put as balanced are left end and right end, and those ones just pick which are, you know, what you prefer. If you're a 4-3 or a 3-4, those ones you have to do. But for everything else, for all the wide receivers, every other position, his studies have shown that by putting this at balance, it also mimics for the CPU. It opens up a wider variety of animations that the players can perform, and so I trust him on this. So I'm gonna recommend it as well. I don't see how it could hurt anything in the game. I mean, franchise mode, let's be honest, is already pretty dull and pretty weak compared to anything else out there that NBA 2K or MLB The Show gives us. So even NHL 18. So we just, you know, do what we can to get the best gameplay. So yeah, just make everything balanced all the way through. And once you're done, I will need to actually load into my Ravens one for this, because I don't want to have this as in my template saved, just because I would forget if I ever wanted to switch teams. So I'm just gonna switch out of here to get the auto subs for you, since they clearly are not in this template, which is fine. So we'll just switch over to my Ravens franchise real quick. Okay, let's load into my Ravens franchise here just to show you the auto subs that you're going to want to do, and that should get you guys squared away. So you're just going to head over there to your coach, auto subs. These are per Flasco. He's done great work, and I borrowed everything from him except for QB in and out. That's from Josh C. That's 49 out, 50 in. But everything else, offensive, defense, besides that, is straight from Flasco. All credit goes to him. I highly recommend it. So make sure you get that set up, and then you're going to want to make sure you press accept and continue, or else it won't save. So everything else is good. Now all we need to do is just make a couple changes to the base of the CFM as far as sliders, and you're good to go. So in league settings, just go in here and change the skill level to pro, and we're going to change the game speed from very slow up to slow, and we're also going to change our game style from arcade. We're going to move that over to simulation. This is where we're going to get that simulation football we want. Everything else should be pretty much whatever you want to do. I personally use pre-existing injury off because I'm using the preseason 75-man roster, and it's the end of the season. I want to play with those people, and I'm going to make all the trades anyway. So, but this is all pretty much up to you. As long as you still have 9 minutes in Excel clock off, everything else is up to you. And so, all right, now we'll go in, and we will go ahead and go to the gameplay sliders. And this is where you're going to press triangle to import, and you need to put them in as you see here. I'm not going to read them out to you all the way through. I mean, you guys can see them, but just put in the sliders as you see here for players, for the player skill, and then you'll just do it for the CPU skill. But make sure you do hit triangle and import first. Don't just take them from 50, take it from what you imported as. And special teams will stay 100% untouched. We are going to make a couple changes to the game options. Injuries will be at 30. Fatigue gets up to 60. I am messing with potentially raising that up to maybe 65, 70. I'm still undecided, still looking at that, but that could be a change, but that's not a big deal. And then player minimum speed threshold we'll raise up to 60 just to help with pass coverage and things like that. For penalties, offsides, false start at 70 each, holding 80, defensive holding 40, from the 99, face mask, bring that from 0 back up to 50, and DPI 99. The only other change you'd make is illegal block in the back at 60. Everything else should be the exact same as you brought it in here. And penalties are one of those things that the DPI and the defensive holding and the face mask are very critical, in my opinion, to how this plays. But the false starts and offsides and holdings are something you can mess with. As far as XP sliders, I don't use them, but you could use T-Dogs. That's what I recommend. Other than that, you should be good to go. And hopefully this video helps you get your CFM up and running. If you had any questions on how to do it, or were kind of interested in how I do it. So hope this video helps. Thank you guys.